Thank you so much for being here. My name is Amy Kundinger. I work here at St. Norbert College in Business Engagement. I represent the De Pere Chamber as a board member, as well as the City of De Pere as the newest alderperson. It is my pleasure to welcome you to beautiful St. Norbert campus for the State of De Pere Luncheon. So this year, the State of De Pere Luncheon is officially a toddler. Well, you won't see a tantrum today. We are officially getting our running legs under us because today we are two. I promise that it's going to be fun. At the end of the event, you'll get a survey. Please take a moment to give us feedback because we want to build on this and make this a great annual tradition. So over the next 20 minutes, we invite you to enjoy lunch and get to know your table mates. At noon, we'll jump into the meat of the program with opening remarks from St. Norbert College President Brian Brees, who will then pass the mic to his fellow presenters listed on the screen. The clicker's right there. Agenda's here. So, to help me get today's program underway, please join me in welcoming Amanda Secor, SVP of Marketing for Community First Credit Union, and today's event sponsor. Amanda.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's unusual to have a toddler or 2-year-old that isn't going to throw a tantrum, so good job. We're really glad that all of you have joined us here today. We're a proud sponsor of the luncheon as Community First Credit Union because as a credit union, we're built on the philosophy of people helping people. And every day, our members come together as individuals to create opportunities for themselves and for one another, a little bit like we do every day as a community. And in doing that, we always build a stronger community. Today's collaborative event is very much the same. And today, it's brought together St. Norbert College, the City of De Pere, definitely De Pere, and today's host for our luncheon, the De Pere Chamber of Commerce. Later in the program, these organizations are going to share stories that document our history, educate us, and inspire us. And it's also going to provide a sneak peek into what's on the horizon for our amazing city. Thank you to Seroogy's for the tasty treats, and all of our esteemed guest speakers, and to you, over 150 of you who represent more than 64 organizations locally. Today's event is for all of us. It's for the people, the businesses, and the organizations who come together to contribute to making De Pere the phenomenal community that it is. On behalf of Community First's more than 139,000 member owners in northeastern Wisconsin, we thank you for being here today, for everything you do for our community, and for being part of it. So we ask you now to please enjoy your lunch, and we'll be back shortly for the program. Thank you.
I'm going to get started. It's just for the record, it's 1 minute to noon, so I can say good morning still. But I want to start early in case we go late, then we all know it's the mayor's fault. Welcome. I was at the eye doctor this morning, got my pupils dilated, so I didn't know if I need glasses. I definitely do. But I'd like to welcome you to the second annual State of De Pere Luncheon. I'm St. Norbert College President Brian Brees, and I'm delighted to have you on campus today. And I invite you to accept a warm St. Norbert welcome on this cold November day. When we welcome people to campus, we do it intentionally, believing that when someone feels welcome, they feel valued. And when someone feels valued, their opportunity to flourish goes up dramatically. This is so true for our students and our faculty and staff on our community on this campus. And it's also true for this great city of De Pere. And so it's in that spirit of warm, purely, truly, genuine welcome that we hope you feel valued and that we hope, in fact, that you do flourish. So welcome. I know that many of you might have questions about the recent news. Since we're here today to celebrate De Pere and our remarkable partnership, I'd like to simply say thank you for all your support, your overwhelming show of support. As I've already stated, I'll be the president until June 30th, and I'm really unable to say much more as it's a personnel matter, but I can tell you this. Our students are inspiring, our faculty and staff are remarkably committed and profoundly talented. And St. Norbert College is indeed a remarkable place, one that I love very deeply, and one that is producing uncommon success. So thank you for keeping the focus today on our beautiful city, De Pere. Welcome. And speaking of uncommon, please join me in thanking those people who helped organize today. From the City of De Pere, from definitely De Pere, from the Chamber, from the De Pere Board, and St. Norbert College, Kim Flom, Andy Planslaff, Tina Quigley, Brenda Bush, Amber Thiel, and Amy Kundiger. Would you please give them a round of applause for organizing today? I'd also please invite you to give a round of applause for our wonderful food service and the food that we've just enjoyed today. Go ahead, sure. I'm also very proud to say about 4 or 5 weeks ago, the new rankings came out for food service in the country, and you know that our food has a reputation for being really good, and for a number of years we were at number 13 in the country, 13th best food service in the country. I'm proud to report that, well, we just turned it up a notch. The food just got better. We're now number 9 in the country. And of course that means we're number 1 in Wisconsin, so thought I'd mention that. Your attendance today is a beautiful representation of our collective commitment to De Pere, and it's indeed what makes our community such a remarkable place. And there are many things I could say about the relationship between St. Norbert College and De Pere, but perhaps the most important thing would be this, that St. Norbert College continues to be of, with, and for this beautiful community. Our 120, I remind the mayor that we're the younger of the 2 siblings. That was supposed to be funny. Yeah. In this, he says, in what way? In our 120-year-old partnership, at its core, it's about the common good and community. And my favorite examples of community engagement are when theory in the classroom and application in the community are woven together. When St. Norbert College students and the community partners team up in this way, both enjoy mutually beneficial outcomes. A small representation of this kind of engagement, I'd like to offer you a couple examples. One is the City of De Pere, and definitely De Pere, along with On Broadway, partnered with St. Norbert College's Intro Honors Program class. This is a 4-section class of 80 students of our honors program, which, by the way, this year was oversubscribed, and the first time in the college's history, their collective GPA was over 4.0, and their average ACT test score was north of 30. But this group of 80 students engaged, visited city locations, worked on projects integral to city planning, such as single-family zoning and the value of public art. And just this morning, I'm told that students presented their findings to leaders from these organizations. Another example, several local companies such as Schneider and Amerilux, I see Kurt Voss is here, have partnered with Professor Paul Johnson and St. Norbert's newly launched Integrated Studies major, a highly customized major where students curate their own course pathway. This unique approach helps develop essential skills such as critical thinking, communication skills, collaboration, and they join that with foundational majors such as biology and business administration. This kind of interplay is what the community is asking for, and this is precisely what St. Norbert College is delivering. Another favorite of mine is Tweet Garrett, our neighbor to the west, is currently involved in a senior capstone workplace communications class with Professor Kim Smith. This class is an excellent example of theory and application as students are assessing, researching, and presenting options to enhance communications at Tweet Garrett. Tweet Garrett is a wonderful neighbor, and we're delighted to partner with them to advance an already solid company. These are just a few of the many examples that I could offer. As St. Norbert, we encourage these partnerships with the greater community. These kinds of partnerships are good for the community and good for St. Norbert College. And this mindset of mutually beneficial community engagement is one reason the college is producing remarkable results. Graduation rates, a 4-year graduation rate of over 70%. The 4-year public graduation rate is 38%, and we're at 73% in this last cohort. Low loan default rates, ours is remarkable, one of the top 100 lowest ones in the country. The national loan default rate is 11.5%, the state is 10.5%, the private colleges in Wisconsin are 7.4%, and St. Norbert College, our loan default rate is 1.8%. We have powerful learning outcomes, and we're generating solid citizens who give back and to build on our communities. I think it's an interesting little fun fact that 70% of our students these days come from Wisconsin, but 80% of them stay in Wisconsin. And I think the more students we can get to stay in De Pere, the better. Nonetheless, we're generating uncommon results. And I'd like to let you know that this kind of commitment to De Pere is just beginning in some really important ways. If you'd like to know more about how to get involved in these ways of engaging, Amy Kundiger, our Director of Business Engagement, is right here. Reach out to Amy. She'll be happy to connect you. I'm also quite pleased to be the president of St. Norbert College, in part because I have the wonderful opportunity to partner with our mayor, Mayor Walsh. Now, last year, if you were here, you remember that I had very grave concerns. And I tried to address them. The mayor, he kept showing up to St. Norbert College events wearing either Wisconsin Badger apparel or Notre Dame apparel. And I just found that to be just downright offensive. And so last year we tried to class him up a little bit with his apparel, and we gave him, he and his wife Sue, we gave him a couple St. Norbert College polos. And I'm very proud to report that he came to SNC Day this year with St. Norbert College gear on. So let's give the mayor. And I got to thinking about that this morning. I thought to myself, this is a way in which a relationship grows over time. You make back and forth, and you work on it. You help each other become better leaders, and the organizations get better. I thought, what can I do to help the mayor be a better mayor? And so I thought today, I want to build on last year's theme, and it's so dang cold. I think the mayor and his wife could use some new hats, his and hers. Mayor Walsh, please come up. You'll have to figure out which one you want.
Yeah. Well, at least they get first choice. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Just gonna get a glass of water. Well, Brian, thank you very much for this. I think I'm going to have the entire store by the time I'm done.
That's what it takes.
Well, the other part of it is. I hate to burst your bubble, but when I was here for SNC Day, I had Notre Dame on underneath. So, but good afternoon. I'm really grateful to be able to speak to you today, and thank you to the De Pere Chamber, Community First Credit Union, St. Norbert College, and definitely De Pere for coordinating and supporting today's event. I also noticed that a few elected officials are in the room today. Senator Bob Coles. Bob, you there? Okay. Alderpersons Ryan Jennings, Amy Kundiger, Jonathan Hansen. And I don't know if anyone else is here. That's all I had seen. So is there anyone else here? Okay. Shinkton. Okay. But this is a great turnout for today. We're really pleased that everyone was willing to come out and listen to what everyone has to say. I happened to notice on the agenda that my speech was going to take as long as the lunch. I hope my speech is as good as the lunch was, but I'm not quite so sure it's going to be that way. But as many of you know, I'm an avid St. Norbert hockey fan. I love hockey, and Coach Coggs and his very successful teams are a great fit for me. I take my grandkids to games, and they love it also. So first of all, Brian, does that constitute free tuition for them when they get older? They're 6 and 9.
Depends on how good their grades are.
Well, I need it in writing. Okay. Second, last year, I was at one of the games, and I was sitting in my usual seats at the end of the ice behind the St. Norbert goal by the student section, when I see this big, tall guy walking by the glass and drinking coffee. At least at the time, I thought it was coffee. Anyway, I'm sitting near the top of the bleachers, and this big guy walks past me towards the student section, and without breaking stride, this he puts his hand out like this high, and he takes his foot and he touches his hand. Literally touches his hand like this. You know, the kids went crazy. The fans are cheering on that end, and everybody else didn't know what was happening. But that big tall guy was Brian Brees. I mean, the beloved, sophisticated, classy president of SNC. When I saw him a few days later, I asked him if he was a Radio City Rocket wannabe. But that said, thank you, Brian, for welcoming us here today. So for the next 20 minutes or so, I know Larry Deal hates to hear that, but I'll be sharing highlights from 2019 and a sneak peek into 2020. At the State of De Pere last year, we emphasized the importance of achieving success through partnerships, and also unveiled the city's new vision and mission statements. There's a phrase in the mission that I love: we will seize on opportunities. I think that's the perfect description for our pursuit of growth and improvement over the past year and into 2020. We don't passively wait for opportunities in De Pere. We seize them eagerly and decisively. So this year at the State of De Pere, I'm excited to focus on the many projects and opportunity we have seized, that we have embraced to achieve this high standard. The thing that comes to mind for me are the new additions to De Pere that stir our imaginations. Things like an alley filled with bee paintings and flamingo statues, or an abstract elephant painted alongside a local business, or perhaps an eye-catching glass sculpture that greets travelers exiting our bridge. While there is so much that has made 2019 an inspiring year in our community, it's these things that I'm particularly proud of. In De Pere, we've been actively seizing the opportunity to grow our community through arts and culture. Public art plays a distinguishing role in our country's history and culture. It reflects and reveals our society, enhances meaning to our civic spaces, and adds uniqueness to our communities. Public art humanizes the built environment. It provides an intersection between past, present, and future, between disciplines and ideas. It matters because our communities gain cultural, social, and economic value through public art. And if you don't believe me, hopefully you've been reading the slide produced by Patricia Walsh with the Americans from Arts organization. Not that I'm trying to get the family name out there, although I do have two Aunt Patricias. Simply put, in De Pere, we are thankful for public art and our local artists, and deeply value their place in our community. Art and culture are a critical component of De Pere's identity. One of the signature examples of this is Nicolay Alley. This narrow space in our downtown's west side was transformed from an ordinary walkway into our region's first ever outdoor fine art exhibit. It is as impressive during the day as it is during the evening. This beautiful and immersive art installation focuses on the importance of the honeybee, as well as sustainability for our broader natural environment. It's just steps away from St. Norbert campus. Stop by and take a look, and let us know what you think. Nicolay Alley is unique in that it is one of only a few rentable spaces in downtown De Pere, which you can reserve actually for private events. A wedding has already been held there this past September. Events like this not only add vitality to the public realm, but also financially support our local businesses. And speaking of events, these gatherings are just as important as culture is to art. Events build dynamic community opportunities to gather and connect. Definitely De Pere does a tremendous job offering engaging, fun, and unique events. And year-round that unite our community with our local businesses. They will share more of these opportunities in a few moments. In terms of city-led events, I'd like to highlight one of our most successful events of 2019. And I know Brian really likes this one, the De Pere Beer Gardens, which are held at Voyager Park. This community events series is the first of its kind in the area, and was designed to provide a relaxing social gathering for people of all ages. There were microbrews on tap, food vendors, live music, and numerous activities and games. We held 3 De Pere beer gardens this summer, and attendance was phenomenal. We had approximately 4,000 people attend between the 3 events. The total amount of money raised was just under $13,000, which will go to park improvements, which will increase more cultural opportunities in the city. Planning is already underway for the 2020 De Pere Beer Garden. Needless to say, between our art and our growing offering of community events, De Pere is becoming a thriving place to gather in and be inspired. Speaking of which, 2019 saw the formal announcement of something that will solidify our community as a true leader in arts and culture for generations to come, the Malva Cultural Center. This proposed $50 million downtown development will be a 3-story cultural attraction that will bring world-class exhibits and programs to the riverfront. Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill is developing a building with impressive architecture that will feature exhibit and performance spaces, including an auditorium as well as an open-air atrium, classrooms, an outdoor terrace, and a veterans memorial. The De Pere Cultural Foundation hopes to have final designs for the Malva Cultural Center completed later this year. And then they'll present those to the city for review in the early 2020. They anticipate breaking ground later in 2020 and opening the doors in 2022. As a city, we have always been incredibly proud of our rich history and traditions, while endlessly striving to build a vibrant and forward-thinking future. The Malva Cultural Center embodies that spirit. We look forward to this world-class addition, and we are grateful for this significant opportunity to enrich and grow our community. While arts and culture have truly boomed in the city over the past year, there is a lot more to share, especially in the realm of growth. In 2018, we experienced approximately $9 million in 1- and 2-family residential development. We already hit that number as of August 28th of this year, and permits continue to roll in. Commercial investment is $10 million higher this year than for the same time frame last year, and that is not including the under construction Notre Dame School, which is estimated at $24 million, and the St. Francis Parish Addition of $3 million. Overall, there is a 30% increase in building permits with several marquee projects like Notre Dame School. We talked about our top-notch education partners last year and their important role in creating a high quality of life. We look forward to future school investments like the West De Pere High School addition and the new West De Pere Intermediate School. And we can't forget to mention downtown facade grants. The Council and Redevelopment Authority amended the guidelines in order to make the program more attractive and spur investment. Those changes have resulted in over a 400% increase in grant funding over the past 2 years. It's rewarding to be able to share so many of the positive and existing things happening in De Pere, and we will keep seeking those awards and accolades. But like any community, we are faced with our challenges. But challenges mean opportunity, and we have some updates and exciting news to share as we look to next year and beyond. We continue to progress on the voter-driven referendum to pursue 2 aquatic facilities in the city. We are working through the technical design of VFW Park right now and are hoping to bid it out in February. Construction for VFW will be completed and ready to go for May 2021 with a budget of $7.1 million. In 2019, our community had to come to grips with a few sudden departures of well-known businesses. The nationwide closure of Shopko stores left a large gap in our downtown, not just physically with a vacant storefront, but socially, as the store itself served as a niche in providing goods and services to downtown visitors and our residents. Unfortunately, as hard as we are trying, there is not a quick fix to the Shopko property. We have been very encouraged by strong community-based interest in redeveloping the site in a way that achieves the goals of the Cultural District Master Plan. But the property ownership and financial status indicates that nothing substantial will happen in the immediate future. Rest assured, however, that the city stands ready to facilitate and support all efforts to ensure a bright future for the property. In addition to the Shopko closure, we experienced an even greater loss. The devastating fire in the Turba building displaced both long-term residents and businesses. It also removed an integral and historic architectural feature of downtown De Pere. But we see a bright future here and are happy to share that there are exciting plans to reimagine not just this property, but several others. We call the area the Front Street Block, and it includes several properties like the former Century Lanes Bowling Alley, Number 1 Chinese Restaurant, and Colonial Apartments. These properties have been acquired by the Malva family in order to continue their commitment to the vision of the city as identified in the Cultural District Master Plan. A redevelopment effort will be spearheaded by the Morgan Partners, a development company based out of Oshkosh, and will likely include a mix of shops and restaurants, as well as public spaces that engage with the Fox Riverfront. Not unlike the Malva Cultural Center itself, this is simply an unprecedented opportunity to continue the forward momentum of De Pere. But that's not all. We have one more very exciting announcement to share today. Tonight, our Finance and Personnel Committee will be reviewing a proposal for a large corporate development near Fourth Engineering off of Southbridge Road. The developer, Commercial Horizons, will be constructing a state-of-the-art 174,000 square foot office building that, when leased, will bring over 1,000 employees to the De Pere Business Park. The building, designed by the local talent at Performa, will have a dramatic presence from Highway 41, with Fourth Engineering providing an impressive southern gateway into De Pere. And I guess, speaking of southern, the I know, you know where I'm going, right? Southern Bridge. The timing, the continued development and interest in this area will only help support the project progress and timing of the Southern Bridge. We do know that at least one of the tenants, but at their request are not able to share their name this afternoon. That announcement will occur at our Finance Committee meeting this evening, however, but tune in and you can check in with us after that, and that should be made public tomorrow. There is so much more to share, but only so much time, and we have 2 more speakers to hear from. I hope these updates gave you a glimpse into our work over the past year and also generated excitement for what is to come. We began this talk with creating community through arts and culture and seizing opportunities, both of which are critical in achieving the vision of the city, which is to have an unwavering focus on quality of life that sets the national standard for a vibrant community. It seems only appropriate to close with a few progress indicators as we pursue that vision. In numerous 2019 surveys, De Pere ranked among the most highly regarded places in our region, and in some cases the entire state of Wisconsin, for livability, school quality, and business opportunities. In 2019, we were ranked the #1 best city in Wisconsin by Area Vibe, and ranked #1 best place to live in Brown County, and #1 and 2 for the best school districts in Brown County by niche.com. This wouldn't be possible without each and every one of you. It's a great testament to our community, and I'm grateful for people from all walks of life that have seized opportunities to work together and make De Pere such a special place. Thank you for helping us continue to achieve our vision, and thank you for your continued support of the City of De Pere and our many partners. Just a personal aside, it's certainly been my pleasure over the past 24 years to have served the City of De Pere, and a lot of things have happened, and I've always thought of the community as being so very good, so very nice. They've been nice to me, and they've been nice to everyone else. And by having that nicety and all of us being able to work together, we've been able to do a lot of things over those 24 years. I think the revamping of the entire downtown, the bridge, the river walk, everything, it wouldn't be possible with all of you. We've had some bumps in the roads, but it's all come about, and we've done a great job. And I know we'll continue to support the City of De Pere. So now I would like to introduce Tina Quigley, the Executive Director of Definitely De Pere. Tina.
Well, I'd like to applaud Mayor Walsh on sharing such amazing accomplishments and really inspiring us for the future of our community. So thank you, Mayor. And thank you, all of you, for being here. It's really wonderful to see so many familiar faces and meet a lot of new people as well. As we just heard, it really is an incredibly exciting time for our community. And as a lifelong resident of De Pere, I am truly honored to be able to work with all of you and to work in such an amazing place that I get to call home. And I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak to you today and just to share with you a little bit about the work that we do at Definitely De Pere. As a nonprofit, nationally accredited Main Street program, we work closely with the city as well as the chamber and other community partners to assist in the revitalization of the downtown. We work hard to help drive small business success, improve quality of life, and bring in new residents, businesses, and revenue into our city. Our goal really is to build a commercial district that responds to the needs of today's consumers while maintaining downtown's historic character and charm. Many of our efforts this past year have focused on projects that grow our downtown community through arts and culture, as the mayor's illustrated. And I'm just proud to highlight some of our most recent success stories with you. So downtown De Pere boasts an incredibly impressive selection of diverse businesses. The upscale stores, eclectic mix of dining options, world-class services, and unique attractions really make downtown a destination and not just a stop along the way. We offer one-of-a-kind finds and old world charm that is celebrated and preserved through restored commercial buildings and promising new development opportunities. This past year, downtown realized over $14 million in private investment through property improvements, property sales, and new development. We've also welcomed 22 new businesses, while only 3 businesses closed. And the vacancy rate of downtown has really held steady for the past decade at about 5 to 7%. Earlier this year, the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation recognized the best downtown revitalization projects of 2018. The awards program recognizes the efforts of Main Street businesses for historic preservation and downtown development efforts all across the state. And 3 downtown De Pere businesses were recognized for the impact that they've made within the local community and were named Best in State. Aunt Ethel's Adult Emporium won Best New Business. The Exchange Coffee, Mercantile, and Eatery won for the Best Interior Renovation Project. And Luna Cafe and Roastery won Best Facade Rehabilitation. We recently conducted a business satisfaction survey, and with business in their mind, respondents indicated how important current and potential future downtown activities were to them. And we will continue to use results from surveys such as this to help guide our work. 97% responded that downtown events have a positive impact on their business. 86% view seasonal flowers and beautification efforts to be important. 78% would like to see unique seating. 78% feel that a public plaza would enhance the downtown experience. 68% appreciate public art, and 54% think that a performing arts stage would be a desirable amenity downtown. As we heard from Mayor Walsh, special events bring thousands of people to the community year-round, providing exciting activities for shoppers, investors, visitors, and residents. And our new and expanded events last year brought more people to downtown than in previous years. Events that were added to the calendar this year included a doggy block party in May, food truck rallies that were held in June, July, and August, and a sip and shop coming up in December. Over 60,000 people attend events in downtown De Pere annually, and we know that these event attendees are likely to spend additional time downtown shopping, dining, and taking in all of the magnificent amenities that we have to offer. Other definitely De Pere events include farmers market, yoga in the park, art walk, foodie walk, summer sidewalk sales, soup walk, trick-or-treating, De Pere style fashion show, small business Saturday, and holiday. Main Street programs. Who mentioned that? I think Amy's. I have to. Amy mentioned that her favorite picture in the whole slide deck is the mayor serving beer. But what I want to point out is his partner volunteer that evening is not serving beer. Maybe visiting, I suppose an important part. Main Street programs are volunteer driven, and the investment of time from community members is really what makes it possible to implement activities that revitalize our downtown. 1,456 volunteer hours reported at $34,944 was reported last year. As we also heard from Mayor Walsh, a downtown is where arts and culture, thrive, and it's exciting that downtown De Pere continues to be home to a growing art scene. With the addition of several arts-related businesses, public art installations, and the proposed Multicultural Center, we have the opportunity to become a cultural destination for the region. The value of public art is well documented. It adds meaning and uniqueness to a city, it has economic benefits, enhances the natural environment, and changes the way people experience our downtown. Public art projects and experiences really have the potential to attract additional tourists and residents to downtown, engage them for longer periods of time, and keep them coming back. Last spring, we launched a new project, the De Pere Sculpture Walk. The purpose of this public art initiative is really to integrate art to enliven the streetscape. The project features an ongoing seasonal public art exhibit of original outdoor sculptures that were temporarily installed downtown. This year, 10 sculptures were exhibited May through October. Throughout the duration of the exhibit, the public had the opportunity to vote for the People's Choice sculpture. And I'm excited to announce today that the transformation of Daphne, the tree, will be purchased by Definitely De Pere and will become part of downtown's permanent public art collection. So we will be announcing that later today. That piece did command over 70% of the votes. To date, Definitely De Pere has commissioned 6 murals that have been painted on buildings throughout downtown. The goal of the mural program is to select works that convey a piece of De Pere's history and reflect the character of the city. In June, 2 artists from our sister city, Amal, Sweden, painted the mural Interlaced on the side of the new Exo Fitness building at 115 North Wisconsin. The design illustrates the collaboration and connection between the cities. Last year, a consulting group developed a downtown streetscape master plan that serves as a guide for new pedestrian amenities. Our vision is to create a bustling environment that includes an abundance of seasonal flowers, public art, and street furniture. We know that an attractive, well-maintained streetscape is a really important part of creating a competitive business environment. People need to have a reason to be and stay in a place. On George Street, we upgraded the planters to one that is large in scale and contemporary in design, and we do intend on extending this project throughout the main corridors of downtown De Pere, so you can look forward to seeing that next year. A recent call for artists to create artistic benches for placement at various locations along downtown's main corridors attracted 48 entries from artists throughout the country. The goal of this project is to add seating that is both functional and artistically interesting. So the public art has chosen Flow, a design that is original and contemporary and an alternative to the traditional street bench, but one that will not only provide relaxation opportunities, but also make a very strong architectural and sculptural statement. We also partner with the Beautification Committee to expand existing projects, including the beautiful hanging baskets, flower beds, seasonal planters, and holiday decorations. And now looking ahead, some of our project priorities for 2020 include developing a business recruitment and retention program that will include toolkits, an updated market profile, and a recommended ideal business mix to more strategically help market vacant spaces and new development to targeted businesses. We are also partnering with the Greater Green Bay Convention and Visitors Bureau, the City of De Pere, and Wisconsin Main Street on a geofencing opportunity that will provide valuable information on visitors entering downtown. This will allow us to determine what our typical visitor trade area is, identify different demographic trends for various events, and examine year-over-year changes in visitor population and event attendees. We will also be able to compare different downtowns in the state to find trends, define travel patterns, and more. We plan to conduct a physical audit of downtown to identify buildings, track conditions, and prioritize maintenance and rehab projects. Our Public Art Committee is currently planning additional sculpture and mural projects, and as I mentioned, our Design Committee is working on some enhanced streetscape projects. We will also invest more into marketing the district to residents and visitors. A key project will be to publish a downtown business guide and launch a mobile app. Through these tools, we hope to enhance the downtown brand and tell the De Pere story to community residents and the surrounding region to attract more visitors. In closing, we are confident that 2020 is going to be a transforming year for downtown De Pere, and I thank you again for joining us, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the De Pere Area Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Amber Thiel.
Okay, so I have to follow up 3 wonderful people, so bear with me here. I'm not a great storyteller, so I left those out today, so you guys are all very welcome for that. I just want to share a little bit more now that you've learned more about the projects and programs of St. Norbert, City of De Pere, definitely De Pere. I want to share a little bit more about who the De Pere Area Chamber is, the results from this year's business walk, and then some of our plans as we move into 2020. So the De Pere Area Chamber is a member-owned organization that is powered by our staff and countless volunteers. We currently have approximately 200 members that represent hundreds of employees in Ashwaubenon, Green Bay, Ledgeview, Wrightstown, and many more local communities. We engage in economic development, event planning, and community improvement. At this time, the Chamber represents a variety of industries, with our largest falling into the categories of restaurant, finance and insurance, and health and wellness. Our members range in size from 1 to hundreds of employees. Specifically, the Chamber has 8 entrepreneur businesses, 86 businesses with less than 10 employees, which makes up roughly half of our membership, 56 businesses with 10 to 74 employees, and 26 businesses with more than 75 employees. So far this year, the De Pere Area Chamber has achieved a 93% retention rate, which is 7% higher than the industry average for chambers our size. It's also important to note that our organization has achieved an increase of a 15% retention rate over the last 2 years and an 8% growth in membership so far this year. So as I mentioned, I want to get into the business walk a little bit more. This year we had our 3rd annual business walk. For those of you who aren't familiar with what a business walk is, the purpose is to provide an opportunity to gather information through a set of predetermined survey questions that can support us in maintaining a healthy business climate. During the one-day blitz this year, we had teams that visited nearly 200 businesses in De Pere, and of those contacts, our volunteers were able to collect data from approximately 150 of those. From there, the information that was collected by our volunteers was compiled into a report by Wisconsin Economic Development Corp., which we use to prioritize economic development initiatives. So, I'm looking at Kurt's face right now because I didn't warn him he was going to be part of this presentation today. And you're front and center, Kurt, it's perfect. I wanted to mention De Pere De Pere. De Pere De Pere is a really great example of how we've implemented this data in order to acknowledge some of the concerns that we've received from businesses in past years. So some of the feedback we received in 2018 was that, specifically from the industrial parks, was that they, quote, didn't know their neighbors. They didn't know who was working next door, what the company did next door. So with this information, our Economic Development Committee crafted a networking event called De Pere De Pere. So for our first event, Amerilux International was our gracious host. We allowed attendees to spend some time networking, listen to a brief presentation first from Kim Flom, who is the Director of Planning and Economic Development for the city, and then from Kurt Voss, the CEO of Amerilux International, and then we received a tour of the facility. So I wanted to share with you, without making Kurt come up here, some of his thoughts on the video, or on the event last spring.
So Amerilux, our first full year in operation was in 2004, and that's when we moved into the De Pere Industrial Park. Since then, 3 expansions later, and here we are in 2019 with just about 100,000 square feet. The value proposition of De Pere is very strong as it relates to schools, as it relates to activities, and then when you add on the plans associated with the City of De Pere going forward, we find it to be a very attractive place to be. there's very little cost associated with having an event like the Pere de Pere, and there's many ways that we could benefit from that. This particular event, Kim Flom, the Director of Economic Development for the City of De Pere, educated people on the different ways that the city can support local businesses. So that's a direct benefit to everybody. And then the sheer networking that can result in positive win-win relationships on a going forward basis. We've grown relationships that have resulted in a customer relationship of ours, and we've also become customers of some of our neighbors, and that benefits everybody. There's no negative to it. And for an hour of time, I was really happy to have been the first one to host that event.
He's shaking his head at me right now. I feel like you should stand up and bow. That was great. You did a wonderful job with that. So I just wanted to show that video. I think Kurt did a really great job. I know I'm teasing him, but he did a really great job kind of recapping the benefit that the host company got out of that event. We did send out a survey to all of the attendees as well for our first De Pere, and we received a lot of positive feedback about this event, similar to what Kurt had stated, and we're currently planning our next De Pere in the spring of 2020. So stay posted for that. Just wanted to move on now to some of the data that we collected from this year's Business Walk survey. So this year we broke our record for number of volunteers. We had 39 volunteers who did brief visits with 147 businesses. Oh, is it giving a hard time? Perfect, thank you, Kim. So 147 businesses, which is a 16% increase from last year and covers roughly 15% of total city business establishments. Participating businesses employ more than 2,700 workers, or roughly 17% of the total daytime employment in the city. The majority of our respondents were companies with 25 or less employees and fell within the retail, professional, or personal service industries, although as you can see we had quite the mix of industries and sizes. This is roughly the same distribution that we had last year for the survey, and the sample data is comparable to the overall business makeup of the city. So what did we find out this year? Well, most responses to questions varied based on location or operational factors. There were a few trends where age or industry played a role. So newer businesses, meaning they've been in De Pere for less than 5 years, were twice as likely to identify positive aspects of the community as older businesses. We found manufacturers and large employers were slightly more likely to identify challenges, and to no surprise, the most common theme was recruitment of new employees. And retail and service businesses were significantly more likely to identify traffic and parking concerns as a priority. Some notable findings when looking at businesses' 5-year plans included that 77% of businesses anticipated growing and remaining in the community, which has been pretty steady over the last 3 years, as long as we've been doing the Business Walk survey. Twice as many businesses, roughly 72%, expressed a positive business climate outlook rather than a negative outlook. 41% of businesses identified overall growth in the community as the most promising trend, while 14% identified the emerging arts and culture as a positive influence. Lastly, nearly 1/3 of businesses identified one or more areas where they could benefit from assistance from the city, chamber, and definitely De Pere or other partners, specifically including half of them seeking assistance in effectively marketing and advertising for their business in the region, and then about 1/3, so 33%, seeking assistance with, again, recruiting, training, and hiring workers. So we did ask a question on the survey for companies to indicate their level of interest in some potential programs and services that would be aimed towards helping businesses network and expand their marketing capacity, which you can see here on the slide. There was a significant response for most of the initiatives that pertained to boosting brand awareness within the market. In addition, 71% were interested in assistance with marketing and securing interns for the summer. So once this report is reviewed, our team will sit down again and discuss common concerns that need our focus next, much like we did when creating the De Pere event, as I mentioned earlier. So I would love to share the results of the entire survey with you, but unfortunately I was told I can't keep you here past 1 p.m. So That'll be released shortly. By the end of the month, we should have the final copy of the survey all put together. It comes out on our website. We have our partners that share it for us, so you can get the full pages of results that we have from the business walk this year. So what are our plans for 2020? So looking forward, we of course want to continue to find ways to support local businesses. Another large project that we've taken on this year, I just want to make a brief mention of, is revamping many of our events. We have a really dedicated events committee that's put a ton of effort into expanding and improving our programs. So one example of this is our upcoming Uncorked event. Historically, this event has included a buffet-style dinner, wine pairings, and silent auction. So for 2020, we've already made many enhancements to this event, which is already a great event. Mark your calendars for May 1st, 2020. For Uncorked 3, Beer versus Wine, it'll be at the brand new Ledgecrest Reserve. We have Chef Fusion catering 4-course meal that'll be paired with a wine and a beer to all attendees. We plan to continue the silent auction aspect, but there will still be additional and exciting new changes announced in the next couple of months leading up to the event, so please be sure to keep an eye out for those updates. Our goal with events is to continue to provide networking opportunities, but as we say, our biggest competitor is the couch, so we're striving to make them fun and worthwhile for all of our members, no matter what industry you're in. So I just wanted to wrap up by saying that if it wasn't obvious already, we're so proud to be a part of this community. I moved to this community about a year ago, and I cannot say enough good things about it. I'm so happy to be here. It's been so welcoming and so warming. With our partners that we have that helped to plan this event, and just all of you. I don't think I've ever met somebody who said something negative about De Pere so far to me. So that's great. Maybe I'm running into the right people, but we'll see. So I just wanted to say thank you again to our presenting sponsor, Community First Credit Union, for making this event possible. St. Norbert College, City of De Pere, and definitely De Pere for their partnership, effort, and dedication. And of course, Seroogy's chocolates for the delicious candy bars. Make sure you take those with you if you haven't eaten them already. And to all of you who attended today to learn more about your community. So at this time, I would like to invite any questions the audience may have about the information our speakers did or did not cover today in today's presentation. And that includes St. Norbert, City of De Pere, and definitely De Pere as well as myself. Thank you. Does anybody have questions right away? Yes.
Speaking of the Southern Bridge, what is the update on that?
We figured we'd get that one.
Well, I've been working on it for 24 years. We have had discussions with the DOT, Brown County, and our surrounding communities. We've been looking at well, each community has approved, what do we call that, Kim? We approved an agreement. We approved an agreement with Brown County and for the design of, not the design of the corridor, but trying to get the corridor set, I'm sorry? Oh, yeah. Thank you, Kurt. You want to come up? No. You know. No, it's for the environmental impact study. We had originally had that in the governor had it in the budget, but he vetoed that line section of it. And that was just for the interchange on 41. They said that they would fund that. It came down to them, DOT funding that part of it. And they wanted some skin in the game from the communities. So Brown County and the rest of us, we have to put some money towards the environmental impact study for the corridor itself from 41 and, well, actually from Packerland all the way to Bellevue, or I'm sorry, Ledgeview. And so that's gonna cost, I think it was 1.2 million. The county's putting in 600,000. The city's putting in around 4. Town of Lawrence, I think, is 76, and Ledgeview is 96,000. So we also have a letter from the DOT saying that they are in on this if this happens. So hopefully it happens. Anybody else? Keith?
Just wondering if you would comment a little bit about the fact that we're losing Kim Flaw.
Well, Kim has been with us for, what, 3 years? 4 years. Time sure flies when you're having fun. But Kim has been an integral part since she's been here. We are sorry to see her leave. She's got a fantastic opportunity in Texas. She's got, it's really tough to uproot your family. We all know. Personally, I'm really sorry to see her go because she's been a great help, not only to me, but to the entire organization. And yeah. All I can do is wish her luck. She says every time I talk to her, I make her cry. Anybody else?
I'm crying too.
You're crying too. I just like to make one comment after everything's been done. I think the future of De Pere is really out there to be had. I would say within the next 5 to 7, maybe 10 years, you're going to see an entire different downtown. The change is going to be phenomenal. We can already see it with Notre Dame School. You'll see it with the Cultural Center. You'll see it with the Front Street block. Hopefully we'll get some expansion out into the business park. But we're getting pretty full in the business park, and we could use some further expansion, but we'll have to see what happens on that. But like I said earlier, it all comes down to all of you being partners with us and working with us. And I can't say enough about the people of De Pere. I've lived here all my life, and I've never had the inkling to leave. And I think that says something about the people who live here and the people you want to be around. So if there's no more questions, I guess we'll wrap it up. Anybody? Okay, good. Thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate it. See you next year.